Welcome, everyone, to a lovely Friday. Lovely, lovely Friday. We're going to recap. What are we recapping? We are going to recap the whole point, the whole purpose, so that as you go through your weekend, you remember the whole purpose. What is it that you want your life to be like? It does not matter whether it be spiritual, material, it is irrelevant. Apply the law in the same way every time. How do we apply the law? We apply the law by first recognizing what it is we want to accomplish. And then, once you've made your decision, you will feel a particular way about that decision that you've made. Good, bad, or indifferent, you're just observing. The way your body feels is telling you you have something stored in your subconscious mind about this. And depending on how it makes you feel, you'll know whether you trust what it is that you know or you doubt it. So if you find that you doubt it, a simple question: what would it be like if this thing were fulfilled? What would it be like? How would I be changed? How would other people view me, the ones closest to me? What would my new behavior be like? And then, once you've answered that question, those are the attitudes you take on. And you begin to live those new attitudes on a daily basis. Now, sometimes it may or may not be easier. That depends on your perspective. When you say, I am a new thing, then you have to see that action for yourself. That's what it is. If you say to yourself, I want to fast more frequently. Well, let's choose what you want to fast from. How long do you want to fast for? You see, sometimes we want to make a change and we think, well, if I just jump right in there. If you've been doing something for a very long time, that is a habit now. You are well versed in that behavior and that habit. So to go against it, you will meet with resistance if you push really hard. Force a change. But if you say, all right, this is what the day will look like, and you begin to do the new things, now it is easier because that is how you got to where you are now. Every day you did the same thing in the same way. So in order to change, you must do the new thing the new way every day. Sometimes we get discouraged. Sometimes we say to ourselves, why is it taking so long? Then that happens and you find yourself going back to the original way that you were thinking. Like if you say, I don't have enough money. See that part right there? If you go back and you say that, catch yourself. You say, wait, I used to think that way. Now, what would it be like if I didn't have to worry about money? And you begin to go into your imagination. What images show you that you don't have to worry? Yeah, the entire planet says you have to worry. But the beauty of the law is this: everything bends to your will, to your intention. Whether you use your will consciously or unconsciously, which means if you look at your life and you go, I'm changing, and this is what I'm changing, conscious change, aware change. But if you look at your life and you're like, ugh, but then you just go and you do change, well, that's the unconscious, but you're still doing it. The key is to be aware of what you're doing. That is always going to be the key. Be aware. Don't just fly on autopilot, because then you continue to do things that remain hidden to you. Because, we just do them, right? So the purpose, you're going to come across people and situations, and you're going to have to make that split decision. Whether this thing is worth your time, do you engage, or do you not? But you see, we make those split-second decisions based upon who we've spent our time conditioning ourselves to become. If we spent the time arguing and fighting, well then reflexively, instinctually, that is how you will behave on autopilot. But if you make it your business and you say, wait, how am I behaving with this situation? Is that how I want to behave? Now you are aware of your behavior. Now you can choose your actions based upon the new behavior you want to do. Why? Because the new behavior shows you who you are, that you've chosen to be. You see, if we run around blindly, meaning just following the emotions, just following them just because you got them, many a thing can happen. You'll find yourself arguing. You'll find yourself in any situation and then ask, well, how did I get here? Take your time. Take your time. Look at where you are and be honest with yourself. Honesty with self does not mean you browbeat yourself and tell yourself how not smart you are because, oh my God, your change is taking so long. Why is everybody else around me changing? That is not the way. Well, it is if you want to stay where you are. But if you say, I am changing and here's what I'm changing into, they'll then get up and begin to do the new actions, because the new actions will cause you to speak in a different way. Those new actions will cause you to think in a different way. One motion. This is the beauty of the law. And it is the thing that builds your confidence with who? Pray tell. You, your spirit. Your spirit. That's what matters. So no, you don't have to fret. It doesn't matter what situation arises. Comprehend this. The situations are irrelevant. It is the person in the situation that will mold and shape the situation to become something. You can either cause that situation to get bigger or you can shrink it. But the size of the situation matters because of who is doing it. If you go into any situation with your security in the law and you can look at that situation and go, meh, what's the law say? That is what gets us through. But if you go and allow yourself to be bent with every situation, it is exhausting and it will wear you down and it will wear you out. You see, because the law is consistent. It remains the same. That's why you hold fast to it and practice it, because now you know, what does the law of causation tell you? Every cause has its effect. Every effect, its cause. But more beautiful is, if you know the cause, you can predict the effect. You know you're doing a particular action. You're guaranteed the outcome. You know what it is. You want the outcome to change? Well, then you have to change the cause. See how easy and simple that is. Especially when we don't have our feelings embroiled in it. Oh, but what if I fail? You see, the law shows you that you are always successful. Good, bad, or indifferent, you are always successful by way of law. Whether you follow the law with your eyes wide open, or you follow the law with the eyes wide shut. You're always successful. Why? The habit makes us successful. Why so? Because if you do the same thing the same way every time, you will get the same result. That is what is successful. So when you are looking at the law and applying it to your life, you recognize, oh my God, that's right, I am always successful. Why are you always successful? Because you're not saying things to yourself because you can talk. You're saying the truth to yourself because you want to remember it. So why are you always successful? Because as I am on the inside, it's what I project to the outside, as within, so without, as above, so below. As I think of myself, that is what causes me to speak, and that is what causes me to behave in the way I think about myself. That is fact, and you know it. Because you live it every day, you experience it every day. So are you or are you not successful in your conscious application of the law? Then your answer should be, well, yes, I am. Now, what if you say, oh, but the universe is testing me? We go through things because we've set a cause in motion. The only thing to be tested is how you are using the law. How you are using the law, not how the law is being used against you. You have to use the law. As Neville says, you are the operant power. So when you are using the law, how do you know that you're using it? Well, one, it's always on. It doesn't take a break. It can't take a break. Well, we're here. We can't take a break. The law is always on. So how do you know that you're in alignment with it? One, you're always in alignment because everything unfolds by way of law. So you're going to test yourself in how you apply the law. Why would you test yourself? You want to test yourself to see what you comprehend and what you still need to practice more of. That is why you test. You don't test to see what you can regurgitate. You test to see what you can comprehend and how effective you are in that comprehension. That is why you test yourself. So when you say, okay, and if the word test gives you a little bit of anxiety, go to the word practice. Why practice? Because the more you practice, the more efficient you become at what you practice. The more successful you become at what you practice. Because you're working out the bugs. You're working out the, I don't feel so confident about this. All right, what do I want? How would I feel if I had it? What would I behave like if I had it? All right, let me start behaving that way. And then you begin to observe your interactions as you go through the day. And remember, once you have decided to do what it is that you're doing, you are now polarized in that direction. So your every action that you take will either point you in that direction that you say you're polarized in of your change, or it will take you back to where you always were. So when you watch yourself, if you keep getting the same results, well, then you have somehow repolarized yourself in the old direction. But if you realize, oh, this thing is changing, well, then you have remained polarized in the new direction. And that's when you begin to do a little bit of a jig. You do a little dance. Get down tonight. That's what you do. Because then why would you do that? Because you're looking at yourself. You say, wait, that means I comprehend it. I get what I'm doing here. Let me do it again. That is how we consciously practice. So if you catch yourself in a situation, doesn't matter the situation. Situations come and go like the breeze, like the leaves in the wind. But the roots of the bamboo are far reaching. And because of that, It is stable. So you and I practice our stability in the law. What is it that I want? What would it be like if I had it? What would I speak like? What would I walk like? What would my attitude be? And begin to do those things throughout the day. And you'll find it will get easier for you to do those things. And remember, you're not pretending. How can you be pretending when all your interactions are now doing what? You are having a new attitude, and thereby you're having new interactions. And if you find yourself having the old interactions, persist with your new attitude. The longer you've been doing the new thing, the easier it becomes to do. Remember, it becomes a habit the more you do it. What is a habit? A thing. So your thought, your word, your action that you do the same way every time. And then you just get so good at it, you can be like Neo in the Matrix, and you can fight Agent Smith with one hand behind your back. Who is Agent Smith? Situations that we come upon. That is how we recap and we practice the law on a daily basis. Remember, there's nothing out there against you. How can you be so sure when sometimes we hear things like, oh, the universe is against me? Listen, you are part of the universe, and a house divided against itself cannot stand. Why would the universe try to break you? It has to break itself. That's not what it's about. So there's nothing against you. Not a thing. Save maybe your thoughts. So take your time. Assess the situation. If you say, I want to practice intermittent fasting, I heard so much about it. I want to see how my body responds. Well, which meal do you want to take out? You have to know for you. Sure, you're going to practice something new, but know why you are doing it and choose so that you can say, okay, I'm going to do this in this way. And you'll begin to notice how the body responds. And when you notice how the body responds, you're like, oh, the body feels better. Okay. I'm much more clear. I'm hearing my spirit more clear. This is nice. I like how this is going. Well, let me do it again. And you will find you've grown. You're more perceptive. You are sharper when you notice things. The voice of your intuition, your spirit within you says, oh, and you can hear it from a distance. You can feel it. You become more intuitive. That's what it is. So take your time. Choose what it is you want to experience. And instead of waiting for that thing to happen, adopt the attitude. Remember mirror neurons. A mirror neuron, first of all, is going to tell you there's always somebody watching you. The mirror neurons are always watching you. They're always watching you. So whatever you partake of, the mirror neurons are looking at it. So if you notice, one of the best ways to explain this is if you're walking somewhere and you see a puppy and it's cute, and like, oh, now you feel kind of warm and fuzzy. You don't own the puppy, but the puppy is cute. But the body, when you see the puppy, releases endorphins, those happy hormones. Just like if you watch somebody smile, your body will release endorphins. You're not the one smiling, but because you have observed it, your body responds as if you were the one who smiled. So you see, if you want to change your mood and you don't know how to change your mood, what is the mood you want to experience? We're always on social media. We're always in Google. So find an image that matches it and observe it. Look at it. And your body will respond in kind. It works the other way. If you see two people arguing, as long as you observe them, hear them, it doesn't matter, your body responds. Your body responds. So that's why you use that to your advantage. Know that if you observe the good thing happening, your body will fire off these endorphins as if you were the one living it out. So use that to your advantage. You want to change? Look at the change that you want to experience, and your body is going to respond as if it were doing the thing itself. So then, that is one thing that makes change easier to accomplish. And if you look, you'll see your spirit is always making a way for you to do this. It is always making an easy way for you to change. So allow it to help you. There's nothing that we cannot accomplish. We just don't know because, well, we haven't stayed focused long enough. So if you say you want to practice and become more focused, what do you want to become more focused at? Because it's one thing to say, I want to be more focused. At what? Decide what that thing is you want to be more focused with. And once you choose it, now you begin to practice what that would be like. What would that be like? What would my attitude be? Begin to do the attitude. But what if I don't have money? What is the attitude that you would have if you didn't have to worry about bills? What would your attitude be? How would you speak to people? How would you walk down the sidewalk? That is what I'm talking about. And the reason why you want to know what those things are, because then the body, remember, the body responds. And it begins to release a chemical cocktail. We know this. Get into a situation where you have to do fight or flight. Before you've even participated, your body's going to respond. That's why you've got to be deliberate. And instead of having the body instinctively do something because of a habit you've always done, for instance, you find yourself being anxious all the time. That is learned behavior. It is a habit. But if you say, well, I don't like this polarity, I don't like this anxiety, I would like peace of mind. How would you behave if you had peace of mind? Oh, you mean you would breathe long and deep and slow? Oh, yes, you would. And as soon as you say, oh, I would take a nice big deep breath, what does the body do? It takes a nice big deep breath. And then all of a sudden, as if by magic, when it was simply by a decision, by a choice, the body begins to relax. And now what do you say? Oh, this is what peace of mind begins to feel like. This is nice. Let us continue here. Oh, sure, you'll find another situation because there's 8 billion people and that anxiety wants to grip you again. You say, wait a minute. Remember what we're doing. Remember, we're practicing peace of mind. And what is the trigger for peace of mind so that to help you remember? A nice big deep breath. So you take a nice big deep breath and the body begins to calm itself. And every time, because the body, remember, you've been doing anxiety for a long time. So that's going to be the go-to for the body because it has always been the go-to. But you, because you have chosen peace of mind, you have to remind the body, hey, we're doing peace of mind now. So the next time, before your body engages in the anxiety, it will stop and say, ooh, peace of mind? And you say, yes. And it will go to peace of mind. That is why you practice showing your body the behavior. So if the behavior is peace of mind, When the bill shows up, you say, hey, you know what? We're in the world of Caesar. Bills, taxes, and death are inevitable. So, peace of mind, because it is always going to be taken care of because they don't go anywhere. So that means I always have the solution. And you train yourself to see the solution, you pay your bill. Whether in part or in whole is irrelevant. You have to take that step. You decide. But so long as you foster the peace of mind and move from a place of courage, well, then, you know what happens when you behave courageously. You also know what happens when you behave from a place of fear. Well, then you choose which one. Let us take a moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space. Hey, Geck, you're here on Twitter. I see you. It is a lovely Friday, isn't it? It is. Fan base, who's here? We have David, Ashley, KZ, Miss McQueen, Flo Smuts. Hey, Coach. Yolanda, Zola. We have you all here this morning, and that is a lovely Friday. It sure is. Let's see. Facebook, we got Indy. Let's go all the way back and see who's here. A-Not is here. Hey, Cyber. Jeff, darling, I see you. Oh, Cyber says he just started a 7-day fast this morning. What are the odds you say that? The odds? We deal in odds now, Cyber? We don't deal in odds. I won't. Oh, Cyber, you're awesome. He says, please refrain from mentioning sweet treats. Good morning, Goddess Pure Diamond. Hello, David, Marjorie, Sherelle, Ray of Sunshine. She says, I smiled in the direction of my haters and blocked out their stares and focused on people walking in front of them that mattered the most. Well, look at you go. You see how it is? You redirect yourself in the desired direction. You begin to reap the benefits of the new direction. Yes, the better man. You see, I'm going to read you what she says. She says, I was so proud of myself. I came to the realization as much as they fake liking me, their inconsistent behavior showed me that they don't. So now they have no hold on me and can't fool me. You see, all of that happens when you decide what's more important here, peace of mind. So now your behavior has to confirm peace of mind so that you can feel peace of mind. Because if the behavior does not confirm peace of mind, you're going to feel the angst. So now she can see through the illusion without judgment, and she feels freer for it. And that's when you can say to yourself, I apply the law. Yeah, right? And you do a little dance for real. Good on you, Ray of Sunshine. Yes. And here's the thing. When you remain polarized in the desired direction, cause and effect take place. You see, even if you're in the undesired polarity, cause and effect will still unfold. But that's up to you. When you say, this is the direction I'm going in, well, then you have to see the evidence of your choice. You know, if you say to me, I'm going to have plain water, they say flat or sparkling. Well, the taste on your tongue will tell you. It'll confirm to you what you've been given. Sparkling water or flat water? Cool or room temperature? You always have to have correspondence. So kudos. Yes, repolarization. And that's it. You're not, okay, now that you've mentioned it in there, I'm still going through the list of people on YouTube, but it is important to recognize that you're not pretending when you do your new action. Because when you do your new action, the body behaves in the way you tell it with that new action. So you're not pretending. Oh, yeah, the great pretender. No, you're not faking anything. You're doing the action. Yes? There you go. Good on you, ray of sunshine. Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. The more you stay polarized, you'll find the less amount of time you spend beating yourself up. Mm-hmm. I breathe. I see you, baby. Shea butter is here. Yes. Peace of mind. And that is the whole point. Ah, Lilith, I see you, beautiful. So remember, make a choice. Decide what it is you want to experience. Remember, this has nothing to do with emotions. Emotions are and senses are interpreted information by your body. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it wet? Is it dry? Is it sweet? Is it salty? Right? Is it crispy or is it limp? That's what your senses are for. So when you make a decision, it has nothing to do with is it possible or is it impossible? The fact that you made the decision is what makes it possible. You have just given yourself a blueprint to recreate. So is it impossible? No. You got the blueprint to sketch it from. Hello. So it is possible. So when you make that decision, what would it be like if you had it? What would your attitude be? What would your behavior be like? You see, we get confused when we hear that phrase, act as if. That's why we want to think, oh, I'm just pretending then? No. No. Think about this. Any man who wears a uniform of authority, even without that uniform, he will still exhibit the authority. It is not the uniform that gives him the authority, you understand? He wears the uniform so you see his authority. But it is the attitude of that authority that you can walk with. Listen, you could be naked, okay? You could be naked. But if you have the attitude, you have clothed yourself in the attitude. You've clothed yourself in the attitude. So if you've clothed yourself in it and you're walking in it, well, then the other people around you, they may see your bits, but they'll also see the attitude. Do you get that? The attitude. So what would that be like? Begin to do it, because then your body must, by way of the law of correspondence, respond to the image and the attitude you are holding inside that is invisible to the rest of us. But it is not invisible to your body because your body is always observing itself. Mirror neurons. So it will behave in kind. And the more you do the new behavior, the more your body becomes solidified in that new habit. And then you're not waiting for something, you just flow right into it because it's the inevitable outcome. That is how we do it on a daily basis. Right? So remember that. Remember. Remember and apply. Don't get caught up in situations, but assess the situation. If you behave with that situation, is that where you say you're polarized? But that's how you'll know what thing to engage in. If it keeps you in the direction of where you say you're going, well, go ahead. But if it pulls you off, you can see it before you engage, can you not? Of course you can. You can see it before you engage in the behavior. You say, you know what? If I do that, that's going to pull me off track. So, no. And what did you do? You stayed on track. You, if you practice the art of observation, you will find that you stay focused because you can see Because of the law of causation. If I do that, well, the only outcome is going to be this one. So I'm going to stay polarized. And then boom, you remain polarized. You have to use your reason, your logic, because you've already engaged the imagination. That's why you're polarized in the direction. Imagination creates reality. Sure, it does. Because you have the image in your mind of who you say you are. So your behavior has to confirm that. You know, the law of correspondence. So that's how you'll know. Is that direction matching? No. Well, then I'm not going to go there. That's why, for the bridge of incidents, you seem to just flow over it naturally. Because everything is lining up with that image and unfolding because of that image. That's why it's important that you know what it is you say you're creating. And every time I say that, because Bree's here right now, oh no, she just posted this video on TikTok. All I could do is shake my head. She starts off with, remember those curtains I had? Well, I made this dress, and I was like, oh dear God. I'm like, she showed you the image of the curtains. They're just hanging there. And I'm like, these are just pieces of material hanging there. How do you go from hanging there to this lovely dress that she's made? And I'm just like, I don't know. But this is the beauty of the law, right? She looked at those curtains. She didn't just see the curtains. I mean, she saw them because she's not blind. So she saw them. She saw the color, and she's like, I'm gonna pick periwinkle because that's my favorite. That's her favorite color. So she's looking at this piece of fabric of periwinkle, and it's just hanging there. And before she's even cut anything out, she's got an idea of what she wants this dress to look like. So that when she unhooks the curtain and she cuts out her pattern and she sews and she does everything else, and you put the two side by side, the original hanging curtain and then how it just hugs every curve of her body, you're like, whoa, what the hell just happened from hanging drape to hanging on form? You're like, what? That is the beauty of creation right there. She looked at it. She saw what she wanted. Was it possible? Well, then she cut the pattern out. Yeah, damn right it was possible. You see what I mean? Any artist observing, you'll see. If she didn't say, oh, look at these curtains, I'm going to make something, I would not have known what was in her mind. But she knew what was in her mind. And she took it from her mind and gave it form. Period. And so if something didn't hang right, what did she do? Revise. She reshaped it to bring about the end result. So that is the beauty of the law. That's what you are doing. You are taking something that is formless. The curtain is just hanging. Doesn't it just it's just there, shapeless. And you give it form it by way of your imagination. You look at it and say, this is what I'm making. That's why the image is important. She saw that image. So then she sketched it out and cut out her pattern. Right? So if you're not making a dress, what are you making? Do you have the image? Well, then now your attitude will be the pattern. Well, it would have to be. Because when she put that dress on in her mind's eye, there was just a new way she moved. This is why you embody. Embody, yes, put life into it. This is why Neville says you have to breathe life into the imagination. And that's the difference between living from it and thinking of it. You embody it. You try it on in your mind's eye. What would it be like? That's what you're doing. You're trying it on. So that you can decide, ooh, I'm going to nip it here and tuck it here. And that's nice. And revise to get it just the way you want it. I trust that makes sense for you today. So it's like, know what you want. Look at the drape that is just hanging there. Listen, when I saw that video, it gives a whole new meaning. I am still in awe, okay? I don't know how many times I've watched it, but I'm still in awe of it. To see it unfold before your eyes, like, because most of the time you'll think the law is invisible because you can't see it. But when you watch it unfold, you'll realize that you've been looking at it this whole time, but just didn't know what it was. So take courage and know that whatever that thing is that's just blowing in the breeze, and you say, I would like to experience ... But what would it be like? Begin to give it shape. You're cutting out your pattern. Give it shape. And begin now to drape yourself in it, in your mind's eye, so that you can see, is it fitting right? So you know what to do. Get the attitude just right. And that is how we create on a daily basis. See how powerful your spirit is? Don't take my word for it. Practice, though. Practice. Anywho, oh look, who's under an hour today? I am. Because I want you to practice. Because I've been practicing too. I said, look, what I want to say, what needs to be said, and have it understood, comprehended, so that it is easy to apply, so that everybody who comes into contact with it can do it and do it and do it, feel good about themselves, so that they can begin to understand who and what they are and the power of their spirit within them. And that's what I wanted to do with, you know what? How's that phrase? What did I say to myself? Leave them wanting more. That's what I said. So that's the journey I'm on right now. So there. Pop on over to YouTube and we're going to hit that bowl. You know where to find me. Yes, of course you do. That LINKTREE or the description below and under the video on YouTube. If you want to drop me an email, if you have a question, you say, Angela, I don't get it. Just slide into my DMs. All of the social media platforms I'm on are in that LINKTREE. You know their images. Of course you do, because we've been programmed, right? We know what the image for TikTok looks like. We know, right? Slide into my DMs on whichever platform suits you best. Or you can email me and let me know. And I will find the example and break it down for you so you can better apply it. Right? So if you find yourself saying things like, oh my God, my life isn't changing, and if it doesn't change, I can't be happy. Your life changes because you change. So if you continue doing the same thing, how can the life change when it molds and models itself after you? So don't say to me, Angela, you don't know what I'm going through. How can you say that? How can you be so cold? Cold-hearted snake. How can you say that, Angela? Because the law tells you, do the same thing, get the same result. But you don't know what to do. Get the attitude. What would it be like if? What would my behavior be like? That is where you begin. And you stick with that and begin to do that. You want boundaries? Where? Where do you want that boundary in your life? You want to be treated with respect? Well, look in the mirror and know that you have to respect you. Well, what does that look like? It means you said, I'm changing my life. Good. That's respect right there. That's the bud. That's the bud of respect. Why? Because you're only going to speak to yourself in a particular way now. And now that you've spoken to yourself in that particular way, you will not accept it from anybody else because you aren't speaking that way to yourself, are you? There's your first boundary. You don't have to be argumentative with anybody. You just need to know what that boundary is. Oh, so you want to cuss me out? That's when you hear the party you're trying to reach is currently not available. And you move on. You don't engage with it because then you're saying, fine, you can treat me like this and I'll argue. No. See where it comes from? Not the outside of you. The law of gender tells you what? The image that you say you are, you project it outward into the womb of creation. And so the womb, being as faithful as it is, will bring you back what you have sown into it. That is the law of gender. Masculine is to project, feminine is what accepts and gives you back the life that you planted in it. Anywho, that's what I'll say to you there. I'll see y'all over on the YouTube, and we'll hit that ball. Gek, Lilith, you know I love you. You poor thing. You think I'm nuts. But that's okay. Remember, squirrels love nuts. And I love you guys. I do. I'll see you, Twitter. Twitter is closed. Fanbase, who wanted to say something? Oh.
Good morning.
Morning, Coach.
Definitely good morning to everyone. Or rich risings for the ones that don't like to hear the word morning. But yeah, definitely had a great time this morning listening to everything. And I appreciate everyone, and I should have some hearts by tomorrow.
Yes, I know I have to replenish my hearts and subscriptions too. Today is the day. Yes. David, I see you.
Good morning. Good morning. Y'all have a good day.
You too. And Kizzy, you're here. Miss McQueen, Flo Smiles, Yolanda, yeah. And Zola, yes. I'll see you over on YouTube if you want to be there. And remember, you have this in the bag. You really do. Think about that. How powerful your spirit is. That guides your body throughout the day and bends and shapes the world to what you say you are. What a most beautiful thing, is it not? I love you. Fan base is closed. Let me wait a quick moment here and see who's gonna pop over. Let me get in here and so I can be in the chat with y'all while I get the bowl. That's not what I wanted to open. YouTube is. Alrighty then. Let's get the bowl, y'all. Let's get the bowl. Go over here. Everyday King. Hello. There you are, Zola and KZ. I've been waiting. There. Now that you're here,